What year is it?
Spring.
Right now?
No.
2021?
2019?
Yeah. So we were at NAMM 2019, Winter NAMM, January. And that was like a really big year for Chase Bliss because we had the big booth at the NAMM show. We had a prototype of the Automaton preamp Mark II with Benson, and then also we had a prototype of Blooper. But at some point, like how you're kind of blinded when you're preparing for the NAMM show. You're just like not thinking about anything besides just like getting prototypes ready or getting like stuff ready for the show. And at that NAMM show, it became clear to me with the super long development cycles of preamp and then the super long development cycle of Blooper that there was going to be a long chunk of time where we didn't have anything new. And like for us, I was seeing that as like a big problem, like existential. Like if we don't figure out a way to keep things running between these two releases that we're putting all these resources into, like it's just not going to work out. And so it was, a few months after we released Dark World, and it was like, how can we do something similar and collaborate with really creative DSP algorithm designers and make basically kind of a weird pedal, or glitchy or whatever. And I started talking to Knobs about that, and obviously we've wanted to collaborate, but we've been friends for a long time, and so it was like, yeah, that's like Old Blood Noise for sure. And I had just been a fan of David Drolo for a long time. I'd never talked to him or contacted him or anything, but I remember even being on his website, like when I was designing Gravitas, and it was like all this, like he had how-to stuff on, how to do harmonic tremolo and schematics and stuff. But then he was doing all this digital stuff, and he's just fucking awesome. I wish he was here,
What was Old Blood's first impression when Joel approached you with the idea?
I remember we were at the Chase Bliss Airbnb, which I'm trying to remember what it was that year. Was there the hot tub?
No, it was kind of longer, and it was a little. There was the outside area.
I remember. Okay, so I remember. Yeah. And you kind of threw out like a little bit in passing, like I don't know. There was.
I just remember you were down, like it was like
Yeah.
no question.
We're game.
But I
Let's
really
do it.
think, I think back to the actual development process because it did happen so quickly, and it almost makes me think of like, because we were working on Blooper, which has some similar effects, but and everything was so deliberate and planned out and hard, and it was like everything was trying to get everything perfect, but with the limitations in a way of the FV1, it's like you can't do everything on it. So it just made us be like, well, here's what I have, and then the other person was like, here's what I have, and then I guess with the addition of the clock, that's like, this is what I have, and it just seemed like everybody, like we didn't get hung up on a lot of stuff,
What was Scott from Knobs' involvement in the project from beginning to end?
Basically, I said, Knobs, this is the situation. Like, I need to figure out some kind of a release. Here's the framework, basically. It's like FV1, one channel, FV1, another channel. We need, let's find some partners that can make a weird thing that's usable and fun. And then what was interesting though, was another one of these things where I think we organized, you know, the Zoom or the FaceTime or whatever it was at the time, with David after we had talked, you know, to you guys, and Knobs and him were like really on the same page with a lot of ideas. So even though I didn't, because I don't know that world, you know, like that granular, glitchy world as well as you guys do, and the way they were like riffing off each other, it's not that I even understood everything they were talking about, but just seeing those two get excited and light up while collaborating, I was like, I knew that felt like we were onto something there.
Yeah.
It was so fast too. Like, it reminds me of when you're writing songs or whatever with a friend, and sometimes you'll be working on a song for a year or something, but then you'll have another song and it'll be like the best song that you have, and I'll just like write it in like 5 minutes, you know? And that's what it seemed like with Mood. It just seemed like everything was just working, and it was so easy, and it was so fun making it.
Yeah, it was very fun.
When did the clock knob get added? Like, how did that?
So actually, I was pissed about that at first because it required me to do work. I suck, like I know I do. And I actually was hoping it would be the exact same hardware as Dark World.
Oh, like the start.
Yeah, and then they're like, no, we think this clock thing would be really cool. And then once I realized what it would sound like, I started getting really excited. And what was so cool too is like actually writing the code for the clock is a little more challenging than you would think, because you can't change the clock instantaneously or to get like, you know, a pop or something. You have to slew it a little bit. So it's like, it sounds instantaneous, but it's not. And I had worked on this problem forever with Therme, because it's just, I don't know, for me it was hard. I don't know, maybe if it's not for other people, but I was able to use that algorithm right with Mood, and it just like sounded great right away. So I was like so psyched about that.
We were talking about this earlier. When you're excited about something, the authenticity of that experience, that's what translates to people who are looking at it. So I think that we all got really excited about Mood because it was unique. It's this weird sort of like sampling, easy to affect micro looper thing. And so every time you would plug into it, you kind of re-explore how to get into it. At least when I do, it's like I don't have a way to find what I'm doing on the Mood. I just like start on a different knob each time, or like try and reset and let it be its own thing. So it was exciting in 2019, and I think in right now, it's like this. Like this is.
It's like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
What is it about this pedal that has pretty much like changed the trajectory of my company, you know, where it just changed everything. This seems to be the favorite thing that we've made. So it makes you really think about what you're making.
Yeah, that's all I had in terms of questions.
I wanted to talk about the name.
Yeah.
Because this is what I remember. I remember when, you know, this pedal was kind of first created in our minds at the NAMM show in 2019. Andy was there. I think that was the first time we met.
That was the first time we met in person.
So yeah, you were the guitarist at the booth, and I took this picture of you. And like that's when I was like first discovering Instagram stories, and I was like looking around, and there was that thing that just said Mood, and I just, you know, it was like black and white picture of you.
I was watching Mason play.
Oh yeah, and you just your posture was so chilled out,
just blown away.
and just put Mood and like posted that everywhere because I thought it was funny because I'm dumb, and then when we were just thinking about the name,
it was just a word
short,
we had
yeah.
latched onto. It was just like.
But
We were just
yeah,
saying
so then I just threw it out as a name, and everyone's like, yep, that's perfect. There was no argument. Usually people are like, you know, what about this name? Everyone's like, nope, Mood. That's what this pedal is.
Was on board too. Which I
Oh,
think is
yeah.
the, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
As I recall on Slack, I wrote that, and then he was like, "Oh my gosh, you've done it again." The color of the pedal was decided for some reason.
Because it was Pantone of the year.
Yeah, it was Pantone of the year.
Yeah, it was a coral
Apparently, Yeah,
That's
that's why.
mood.
That was a lot, wasn't it?
That was fun. That was
But-
good
How long
convo.
was that?
It's like, I don't know, what the hell are you gonna do with that?
Run it to you.